Right Time Gaming!
See what you talking about, man? See what you doing here, bruh? You here to play games? You here to play games, huh? You can only play games if you're in the right place. It's the right time. Yo, it's the right time for games. Yo, it's the right time for games. Featuring games such as Flesh and Blood TCG and SRG SuperShowTheGame.com. This is Right Time Gaming.
Hello and welcome, folks, to our Right Time Gaming. As promised, I am doing a deck tech of my top 8 Levia deck that from top 8 from the Gaming DNA ProQuest tournament that was just this past weekend. Also, this is very close to the deck that I ran at Pro Tour, which I got on the feature match at round 3 on the feature match. The main difference about this deck is deck that we played at Pro Tour. I wasn't really expecting wizards, so it didn't have the extra null room in here. So this is slightly different from what I played at Pro Tour, but I would say this is probably what I'm going to play in the current environment. So I figured this is the best one to look at. This is also the one I played at Pauline. But yeah, before I go too far, I did not create this deck. I want to give credit where credit's due. Mansant, who, if you're watching the Levia video, you probably know who Mansant is. He was kind enough to share his list with me before Pro Tour. Basically, I've been on erring on which Brute I wanted to play. Obviously, Brute Squad, I was going to play Brute one way or another. I just couldn't get a Reiner going the way I wanted to. Basically, with Starvo, if they have the ability and you're Intimidate, they don't really care because they're going to hold on to those cards anyway. And I just found that the matchups weren't quite as good with Reiner. So I wanted to play Levia, and I had an idea of what I wanted to play. And obviously, Mansant has put a lot of effort into to getting Levia where she is, and so I sort of bowed to the master and asked if he could share his list with me, which he very kindly did. And not only that, he also kindly signed my Levia that I played with, as seen on the feature table. So all credit to Mansant. He is doing a lot of great work to get Levia where she needs to be. The League of Levias obviously is something that he has inspired. And just this weekend, myself, James also at Gaming DNA, so there was 2 Levias there. 2 of us made the top 8. And I also watched the Michigan Griffin's Keep or Griffin's Nest or something. I'm not 100% sure of the name of the store, but Mansant and John Smith also made top 8, so 100% Levia conversion rate there as well. So that was great to see Levia's making top 8, and we're one step off. We're like the problem is the deck. Before we go on, we haven't solved the problem. This deck isn't. You're not going to just be able to pick this deck up and get into top 8s of Pro Tours, ProQuests, I should say. You have to put some time into Levia because she does lose to herself. Like she can lose to opponents, but she can also lose to herself, as was seen in my last round match of ProQuest. I was playing against a Control Dash player. I was up 24-6. Really had him on the ropes. And then, just got one of those hands that I couldn't turn Blood Debt off late in the game. I took 15 Blood Debt, went from 24-6 to 9-6, and his Purifiers and Chambers just blew me out. And so, this is not for the faint-hearted. But if you are here and you're watching this video and you want to challenge yourself, this is an enjoyable deck. This is a fun deck, but you have to put in the reps if you want the rewards. And you have to just be, you have to just be resigned to the fact that there's going to be a game or two where she just loses to herself. But in saying that, she is super fun. One of the greatest things at Pro Tour, the Calling, and ProQuest over the last week and a half that I've been playing this particular deck is sitting down, seeing the look of confusion on your opponent's face when you pull out Levia, because they haven't tested against her. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're about to step into. And of course, the other really nice thing about Levia is there's three ways to play Levia. You can play a clause build like this build is. You can play the club build, which is low blood debt, uses the romping club, and really just uses a few blood debt cards that are overstated to get the win, but it uses regular brute stuff and pummels and stuff, but you still have access to things like Carrion Husk for those big defensive matchups and stuff like that. This is more, as I said, this is the clause build. This is more the classic Levia blood debt build that we were playing with. So let's get into it. Let's have a look at it and see what's in the deck. So starting off, of course, the only weapons we are playing are the claws. We don't have room. You can play the hybrid with the claws and the club, but you end up giving up a lot of space in your sideboard to try and do both things. And while I haven't played it, I do know there has been a couple of people who had some success with it. I might look at it in the future. I was more wanting to sort of focus in on the one game plan, especially like I played Brute. I have played all the Brutes quite a bit. I've played a fair bit of Levia, but not for a while. So I wanted to go back to sort of what I knew with Levia, and that's why I chose this build. So here, of course, Carrion Husk is the only chess piece really in this build. It's very good. Obviously, defends for 6, great against the Starvos and stuff like that to try and stop out one of those big crushing blows, the Oakadolds, that sort of stuff, crippling crushes. And also really good to set up those turns where you've got where you want to try and get in your Blood Rush Bellows with a 5-card hand, and so using your husk and your equipment to block to make sure you can have as many cards going into your Blood Rush turn. That's quality. We've got the Arknight Skullcap. That's in for mainly the matches with heavy on-hit abilities. You're thinking your Katsus, your Starvos, your Ranger type matchups where the on-hits can be quite devastating. So that's where we're looking at that. Obviously, Ebonfold is really good into the Runeblade matchups. In the Runeblade matchups, we go with Ebonfold, Hooves, and Goliath Gauntlets over the Scabskins. Also, probably look at running Ebonfold in the Oldham matchup as well. Just for those long grinding matchups, having something that can turn off blood debt is quite handy. One of the great things about Ebonfold in the Runeblade matchups is it does have Spell Void. So if you haven't had to use it to turn off your blood debt, it stops one invert or a late fatal Rosetta Thorn where they haven't it's the Spell Void often is forgotten by your opponent and they don't calculate it, and it can be a saving grace. Obviously, we have Goliath Gauntlets, Gambler's Gloves and Goliath Gauntlets, which are in there for. So basically, Gambler's Gloves if you're running Scabskins in a matchup where you need to roll heavy. Obviously, that is the Prism matchup where we try not to roll Scabskins or play Scabskins and roll heavy on it because, again, rolling a 1 can be fatal in this deck because it can just mean you don't get a chance to turn off your blood debt. But in those in that Prism matchup, when they flood you with auras, you need those extra action points to maintain your board position and stuff like that. Hooves of the Shadow Beast. This is a great tech, and so Hooves of the Shadow Beast is whenever a card with 6 or more is put into your banished zone, you may destroy Hooves of the Shadow Beast. If you do, gain 1 action point. It has Battle Worn 1. And what's really nice about this is, again, this is great in matchups where you don't need to be rolling multiple times on scab skins, but you do want to finish one of those turns with that extra attack. If you've got, especially as you'll see, off a blue attack, you can often throw like a Hungering Slaughter Beast and then either a Graveling Growl or Boneyard Marauder or something, all off one blue pitch. And so just to finish off games, the Hooves is a really, really good option. And again, you don't have the worry of rolling on scab skins and missing. Like Hooves guarantees you one turn where you didn't get those 2 actions, which is great. Another really nice trick about it is it's a quasi spellbound creatures with Art of War. You can sneakily attack, play Art of War, banish 6, and get the extra action point by cracking Hooves. And that is a tricky little combo that a lot of people won't see coming. And again, could help you finish off the game. Hope Merchant's Hood, we've got again for the Prism matchup. This is mainly to you're running a lot of red in this deck, and sometimes you just get jammed up. And again, this will just help even out those hands where you're jammed up, but also. One of the really nice things about Hope Merchant's Hood is you can just crack it. You can even choose to not shuffle anything back in. You can just crack it, shuffle it, just to get, if you need that 3rd card in your graveyard, like for whatever reason you've already banished 3 cards and you've only got 2 cards and you want to do that extra attack. Having equipment that you can break and goes to the discard pile is sort of the graveyard is great for turning on your attacks that need the 3 cards in the banish. Nulru Robe, and so the last ones we have here are Nulru Robe and Skullhorn, and of course this is for the Wizard matchup, which so these weren't in my deck that I was playing at Pro Tour because didn't really expect to see Kano, and yep, miscalled that. But of course, this will give you Nulru 3. You get Nulru 2 off the Skullhorn, and Nulru 1 off the Robe. Of course, you don't need the Husk versus Wizards, so this is a perfect setup for Nulru 3. Also, the other problem with Levia, being that you have to turn off your blood debt, it's pretty tough to basically commit too much to turning off arcane damage, because you still need to hold on to cards to turn off your own blood debt. But one of the nice things about having Nulru 3 like this is that you can you can do that off just one card, and hopefully hold on to 3 to swing back. All right, let's go down and look at the deck. So yeah, this is fairly standard stuff. So we're looking here at let me just see so this is the sideboard, and this is the main deck. So here we have the main deck. We have the Dread Screamers in red and blue, of course. Very good cards. They give you go again if you banish 6, which you'll need. Basically, Levia is overstated by like 1 damage or costing 1 less. And so what you really want to be doing is you want to be swinging twice when you can to maximize damage, and that is what Big Scream is going to do. It costs 2, comes in with Go Again off a 3-card banish, so it turns off the Blood Debt, lets you go again, and also off pitching a blue, it means that you can play this and something like either a Boneyard Marauder or the Graveling Growl. So these 3 cards, Boneyard Marauder costs 1, swings for 6. Graveling Growl costs 1, swings for 6 in yellow, swings for 7 in the red, but you have to banish the card. You have to banish the 6 to play a Graveling Growl. So these are great backups with off a blue from the back of Dread Screamer. Then we also, of course, have the Endless Moles in both red and blue. Red banish, you banish a 6 to get +3, so it's coming in for 9. Same with blue, but it's baked 4, so it comes in for 7. But still, off one blue, it will turn off your Blood Debt, and you're still swinging for 7 if it's your only attack for the turn, which is still that break point that makes it hard for them. Like, they either have to commit 2 cards or commit 1 card, leak some damage. So it's strong. Also blocks for 3. So pitch blue blocks for 3, turns off Blood Debt, which is all good. We have Unworldly Bellow. Again, this is a great card that will let me scroll down a little bit. That will be you banish 3 cards, and your next brute attack gets brute or shadow attack gets +4. So again, a really good way to turn off your Blood Debt and also just push more damage. And it just costs 1. So again, something like this. So this works really well with either a Hungering Slaughter Beast, or even a big swing, or something like that. But again, it's just another great way to turn off Blood Debt, as well as make things like Big Swing and Hungering Slaughter Beast, or even your Boneyard Marauder or your Graveling Growl. This is really nice because again, this for 2 you can get +4, banish 6, allow you to play the Graveling Growl, and then you're coming in for 11, which is a solid choice. Obviously, we've got Command and Conquer here, very good, solid, and also you need a few attacks that you can play early where you're not banished. So where you're setting up your graveyard and you're not banishing cards. Same with Big Swing here. Swings for 8. If they fully block it, they get the Quicken token, but you don't actually mind that. If they're fully blocking it, it means that they are usually not going to use the Quicken token the following turn, or they'll waste it on like a weapon attack or something like that. And I won a game this weekend against Briar who overcommitted to getting the Quicken token, and then just was never able to get tempo back because I just managed to keep swinging at him, and he never really got a chance to use it effectively. So again, really good. Hungering Slaughter Beast, again, another banish 3 to turn off Blood Debt, swings for 7, solid. Blood Rush Bellows, again, very good in any brute deck, and what we have is, of course, the claws. So what you're looking at doing is you're something like a Blood Rush Bellow, claws for 5, then any one of the big brute attacks is coming either anywhere from 8 to 11 if you can get an Endless Maul off. So it makes for some big turns, and it forces blocks or forces them to take damage. Mark of the Beast, again, this is just a solid 6 attack that when it goes to the discard pile, it will turn off Blood Debt because it banishes itself. Doesn't help you build your graveyard, but it does help you in those turns where you need to turn off your blood debt. So solid card. Here we are. This is Deep Rooted Evil. This should be in the sideboard. Yeah, sorry. Oop. Oh, what am I doing? Let me just reverse that. Hang on a second. What I've done here. Sorry. I am. Oh, alright, so that should be in the sideboard. So again, Deep Rooted Evil is part of your recursion package, just for more long grinding games like Oldham and stuff like that, where this can be played from your graveyard, from your banish zone, and it puts another 6 back into the graveyard. It's not great feeling to do that, but it does help fill up the graveyard again, and it allows you to have something to swing back on. So that's not bad. Beast Within, again, very good if you manage to discard it, especially with when you're running the sideboard. Our sideboard has both Pulpings and Wild Rides in it. If you can banish a Beast Within off either a Bloodrush Bellow or off one of the Pulping or Wild Rides, it will banish cards off the top until you hit a 6, and then it'll go into your hand. So that will turn off your blood debt for the turn, score you another card. Again, just very good. Great card. Most Brute players play it. It does do some damage to you, which can be the end of the game. But it's a risk that you play with Brute. Again, we've got Dreadwood Rumbler here, just a solid blue 6. Has no defense, which kind of sucks, but if you have to play it early, it's fine, because you can banish either a card from your graveyard or your opponent's. Alternatively, you just pitch it for blue and let it slide. Then we've got Reckless Swing. I run 2. I know Mansap. I think Mansap was down to 1. I still just really love Reckless Swing, killing your opponent when they're on 2 by banishing a 6 is such a solid play. But I understand why you might want to go down to 1 in this list, like just to have another blue that turns off blood debt. But I solidly believe in it. I think it's pretty cool. We have 3 This Rounds on Me now. I played 3 This Rounds on Me at the Calling, and this is what this list is from. However, I didn't play 3 at ProQuest, and the reason is that I borrowed 2 of them when I was at the Calling, and I literally only decided to go to ProQuest sort of 25, 40 minutes before I left to drive an hour and a half to get to ProQuest. So on the car down, I realized that I was missing cards. And so I only had 1 of my own This Rounds on Me, and what I put in here, and this is a flex spot that you can use. This Round on Me is very good against like Prism and stuff like that, where you draw an extra card and all their attacks are -1 the next turn. So basically, if they're playing heavy auras, they basically can't do much for the turn. Also good against Katsu and stuff like that. But the main reason to have it is it's a blue pitch for 3 block. So what I ran at ProQuest, I ran one blue Unworldly Bellow. Again, just it boosts your attacks, it turns off blood debt. And then the other blue I ran, and again, this is purely because these were blues that I had in my bag that worked in the deck. The other blue I ran was 1 Primeval Bellow from Welcome to Wraith. That is actually a really good card in Levia. Again, if you see it early, it will allow you to pump up your claw to a 6 on an early attack and get 2 cards into your graveyard. So it's a great graveyard builder. Plus late game, pitches for blue, blocks for 3. So still solid late game as well. So yeah, this is a spot that I would suggest you play blues in this slot, but this is definitely a slot that you can play around. I know, like for instance, I think John John was running Pummels in the spot, and James also in Wellington, and Hamilton, I think, was running Pummels possibly in the spot. Soul Harvest, again, never really play it as an attack. It's just a 6 blue, blocks for 3. Eye of Ophidia, very cool. Again, if you don't have Eye of Ophidia, don't worry. Just put in, again, either Unworldly Bellow, Convulsions from the Depths of Hell, something that turns off Blood Debt, just a blue that blocks for 3. This is handy, though, especially if you're running cards like, well, because you're running cards like Blood Rush Bellows, you're running cards like Pulping and Wild Ride, so if you could line it up on turns to use that. Very good. And also just setting up the top of your deck to you can either just opt to get to your Blood Rush Bellows faster, or opt to make sure that your following turn you're going to have cards that can turn off your Blood Debt. We have Doomsday, again, another great blue. Getting out Blasphemous is amazing, but again, pitch for blue. Pitch for blue. If you get to play Blasphemous, it's a bonus. We have 3 Wreck-It Romp, which is a 6 attack. Again, if you're playing Brute, you play 3 Wreck-It Romp blue. It's just the best. The best generic Brute card because it does everything a Brute needs. Only 1 Art of War. We were playing multiple Art of Wars, but they got a little clunky if you pulled multiple Art of Wars in a turn. And if you watch my Pro Tour, feature, you'll see there's just one terrible hand where I get Art of War, Reckless Swing, and I think like 2 other cards that don't turn off Blood Debt and that aren't attacks. And it's just awful. So still very good card, but only running the 1 to make sure that you just get optimal value out of it, and it doesn't clunk up your hand if you draw it in multiples. Let's go have a look at the sideboard quickly. So the sideboard here, we've got the Recursion package and the 2 How From Beyond and Deep-Rooted Evil. Again, those are for long grinding games against your Oldhams, against your traditional Bravos, stuff like that. Things that you think are going to go long. Having that Recursion package to help you just play from out of your graveyard, so you don't fatigue out. You're still putting stuff back in, and also you're reoccurring to get your graveyard back to 3 cards is very solid. We've got the Fateful Scenes. They of course come in against Starvo. They also come against Oldham. Also against anything that has on hits like your Rangers, your Katsus, and stuff like that. When I played Unmovables, again, just too expensive in a deck that has to turn off Blood Debt. So you've got to work with your Husk and your Fates where you can to try and line up blocking those big Volcanoids and stuff like that. Wild Ride and Pulpings, again, very good against Chain, because you have to raise Chain. You don't, because of your own Blood Debt, you can't play the Fatigue plan with this list. You can if you're playing Hybrid and you've got the club and you want to put in more defense react and stuff like that. But in this build, really against Chain, against Briar, you have to race them. So that's there. They're also there for the Prism matchup. Again, being able to come in, attack with Go Again, and then also turns on the claw, so you can attack with Go Again, claw, or roll the stab skins, attack to the face, and then clear out some more is very solid. The only real downside to them is that they don't have any defense, so you can get into games where if you get multiple of them in a hand, they will just end you, which is unfortunate. So yeah, that's the deck. I'll hopefully do some gameplay a little bit later. I have been rambling on. I'm still a little bit jet lagged. I've got a little bit of a sort of post-con lurgy, so that's why it's been a little late getting this out, and the sound a little bit blocked up. But yeah, so that's the deck. I'll put a link to the deck in the description. And again, we'll hopefully get back and maybe get some gameplay and talk a bit more about it. But as I said, if you want a fun deck, if you're just sick of playing if you're sick of playing Starvo or Chain or whatever, and you want something fun, this is a fun deck to play. This is back and forth flesh and blood when you play this deck. Again, just be accepting that sometimes it may just die for itself. But if you commit, the brute gods will smile on you, and you will have a lot of fun. We are the League of Levias. There is a bunch of us that are committed to getting our girl 11 legend points. So I would hopefully I'll inspire some of you to play in ProQuest, because we really want to get Levia some living legend points. Get her off the bottom of the table. Obviously, her and Azalea are the only two that don't have any living legend points at the moment, and we definitely want to see her move up. I feel like she's one or two cards off being a really good deck. She's got obviously Starvo. You can get high rolled. That's what happened to me in the top 8 against Nick Butcher, who went on to win the event. But I still got him to 2. I still he said that it was the hardest match he played all day. Chain, you have to race, but you can race. Maybe if they high roll off the shackles and stuff. But you do have a good chain. Like I actually have only I think in the last week and a half in all my games only dropped 1 game to chain. So it is a winnable match. Still tough, as they all are. Prism, again, you have to commit to rolling the dice a little bit if they start to get the shackles out. But the thing is, you can just pressure their face with big attacks, because again, if they're going aura heavy, they can't block as effectively against you. If they're going herald heavy, you do have a lot of stuff that can pop those heralds. So yeah, again, none of these matchups are slam dunks, but against the big matchups, you are in the game all the time. You can get high rolled out, but then again, any one of those decks, if they high roll, doesn't matter what you're playing against them, they'll probably win if they high roll. So again, as I said, this is a lot of fun, and it's give it a try. I've got at least 1 more, maybe 2 more ProQuests where I will be trying to get Levia points. So I'll let you know how that goes. And as always, folks, stay safe. Wash your damn hands.